Hello, Internet friend. Today on Value Side, America the Aggressor. I'm David Ravel. Well, it's been a week now, and I'm finally able to come to terms with the stark reality that for the first time in our nation's history, we've attacked a country without provocation. Iran did not first attack us. Iran cannot reach American shores with its weapons. Iran has sworn off the use of nuclear bombs. But despite these facts, and before the next round of negotiations could have begun, President Donald J. Trump ordered American forces to open fire on Saturday, February 28, 2026. This was a full-scale, countrywide attack on Iran and, by any measures, a war. It was also the first time in memory the United States had engaged in a conflict without first being attacked. Throughout its history, America has sought the moral high ground, showing itself not as an aggressor, but as a nation that adheres to global norms and strictures in its conduct of war. However, by beginning this war of choice, before negotiating a settlement, Trump demonstrated that today's America no longer is constrained by international law, much less by universal morality, and it's a dangerous precedent, to say the least. In complete disregard for associated religious traditions, Trump has chosen to start a war between the nominally Christian America and the Muslim Iran during both religions' high holy days. For Christians, this war began during Lent. For Muslims, during Ramadan. Both traditions mark this season with prayer and fasting, and both began on February 18th. For both religions, this is their season of peace, but it was turned into a time of war by the U.S. president. Now, from the perspective of a just war theory, battles are to be confined as much as possible exclusively to military combatants. It's the reason soldiers wear uniforms, and military equipment such as tanks, ships, and airplanes are all clearly identified with the flag of their country. With that in mind, it's interesting to note that the two initial U.S. targets were non-combatants, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and the Shahara Tayyibeth Girls Elementary School in Minab, Iran. While American leaders argued that the killing of Khamenei was justified, as he was the leader of the country, nonetheless, he was also their religious head, and assassinating him during Ramadan instantly turned him into a martyr and the symbol of Iran's resistance. As for the girls' school, while it's true that accidents do happen, the fact that days later there's still no apology from American leadership indicates a total lack of appreciation of the suffering that this action inflicted upon the people of Iran. All of this, and the continuing air battle between Iran, the Gulf states, Israel, and the United States, has been, to say the least, overwhelming. A concept all the more difficult to understand because the man who started it all, our president, considers himself to be a man of peace. Trump believed he was worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize and pointedly won the FIFA Peace Prize little more than 3 months ago. Was this all merely a deception? It appears to be so. Perhaps we should have paid more attention when Trump renamed the Department of Defense the Department of War, for it is war that he has now brought us. We should have known that when President Trump said that negotiations with Tehran were going well, he didn't mean it. That Trump was instead giving time for the USS Abraham Lincoln, and later the USS Gerald Ford, to steam to battle positions on either side of Iran. Or perhaps we should have reasoned that the closed-door meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on February 11, 2026, was not to discuss a peace plan, but to coordinate an attack. Just 17 days later, both Israeli Defense Forces and the U.S. Air Force and Navy opened fire upon Iran. Now, my mind can see the step-by-step progression, how through guile and deception Trump led us into the conflict. A war that American people did not want. A war that will see incredible death and devastation throughout one of the richest regions on the planet. A war that just one man decided to engage in. A war that for the first time in America's history is a war of choice, a war of aggression. While my mind sees the reality, my heart cannot but ask, why? And that's today's Value Side. For all of our articles and references, visit valueside.com. Value Side is independently written and researched. The views expressed are strictly my own.